This is the Parra Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by a major sponsor, Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, and co-sponsors, Bo Cook from Lone Market, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, Scott from Brightside Ceramics and Detailing, BTZD Teamwear, and the official media partner of the Parra Cave Podcast, the Parramatta Times. Hello and welcome back to the Parra Cave Podcast. This episode is the chat I had with the lads on the Talking Parra podcast, a weekly podcast that I'm involved in with four other Parra Mad fans, and all of them are involved in social content as well, social media content as well. There's Joel from League of Inches, also Matthew Tate from M. Tatey Sports TV, Hayden from the Entertain House, and also Paramad fan Adam Martin as well. So each week we have a little chat about the previous week's game and also the upcoming game and any other little Parramatta issues or things that we've noticed come out during the week as well. So I hope you enjoy. These are my little snippets of the podcast. You can find the whole Talking Parra podcast on Apple and Spotify, and also on the Entertain House YouTube channel as well. So check that one out, subscribe to that, and subscribe to the podcast as well if you'd like to hear the whole podcast as well. So I hope you enjoy my little thoughts on the game against Manly and also the upcoming game against the Premiers, the Penrith Panthers, and thrown in also as well a little bit of chat about Brad Arthur and also my predictions for the game against the Panthers, my bold prediction, my score prediction, and my first try scorer prediction as well. So for five, I should say, Paramad fans chewing the fat about Parramatta. So I hope you enjoy that. I've brought this one out a couple of weeks for a few weeks now, so I hope you're enjoying this content. Just let me know if you are on the podcast platform that you listen to. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's only a short one, and enjoy. Go Parra.
I don't know. I feel like he needs a sticky blow up, because then the refs might give us something the next week.
Well,
pay the fine.
I'm sure the fans will chip in for the fine.
Yeah, well, the way Troy's selling merch, he'll be able to. Troy, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, available now actually. But look, it was
No, he won't. There's no chance. Sorry, Hayden. There's no chance of Ryan Madison paying his fine.
It was a game there. It was a game there to be won, obviously. But the thing with Parramatta is we need to lead from the front because we aren't the best team chasing points. So we need to lead from the front. And as you said, Adam, slow start, a lot of silly little errors, and Manly got out to that 14-0 lead. Look, I think, three of the tries that Manly scored, the one that you were talking about with Wonga Blake when out jumped, I think that's a very hard one, I think, because
Adam called it. Adam said we always make Schuster look like friggin' Andrew Johns last week.
Yeah, but
look what happened.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll go to the Schuster chip and chase. You can't defend that, and that was so close to the line. You can't. Yeah, exactly. So you can't defend that, and they scored the try there. The one with Wonga Blake being out jumped. Well, he's running back towards his own try line, and you got the attacker running front. You can't. It's very hard to.
Second row should never.
If you're standing still and jumping, that's a bit of a different story. But when
that's the thing. You don't stand still and jump. You've got to attack that better, and that's where the problem is.
Yeah, but when you're facing your own try line and you've got the attacker running the same way, he's got the advantage because he can see the ball easier.
He shouldn't be found in that position. He should be back from the line coming forward as well. And that's basics 101 of defending in the centres and taking a kick. And that's the problem. We shouldn't get that. Most of us do, but a first-grade footballer like Wonga, who's played however many games he's played, should be getting those moments right, and he's just not.
Okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And obviously the intercept try, we've talked about that one there too. So, look, we're not that too far off, to be honest. We talked about it in the group chat as well, Mitch's goal kicking as well. Not to say that Mitch has cost us the games, but obviously Matty's come out and said that he's using a different kicking tee, so it's...
A couple of them did this week. I don't know. It's like a smaller version of the ones
they're terrible to use. I've tried
to so then perhaps maybe I don't know the reason.
It has cost us the games.
Well, no, I don't know the reason why he's changed tees. So maybe he could go back to his old one because I mean we all see
sponsorship.
It could be, but we saw
they may
last
year.
They
may be the same people.
Yeah, so we saw last year how good his goal kicking was. So maybe you should go back to the old one. But the other concerning thing was definitely that left hand. I think it was the left hand side defence. Was it that Manly exposed like twice in 5 minutes? So if they get you one time, well then you obviously learn from that. And there was just so much space on that side for Manly to come in and around. So.
They've done that to us for years, that same... They like attacking that left hand. They did it to us at Combank.
Yeah.
Last year they beat us at Combank.
Yeah, so, I mean...
round one.
Just to have that much space on that side twice, and I think once it led to a try, and the second time it was just shut down, but then I think the next play they scored off that anyway. So... But the good positive thing, and... was that all 4 reserves were used for more than 5 minutes. So, not to blow my own trumpet, but the fact that the first 2 weeks it hasn't been done. So, it was 30-something degrees on Thursday night.
But I think having 2 forwards go down.
Obviously,
force BA's hand.
It does. It does.
If Murchie didn't have to go for that head knock, Gyro doesn't come on. So you probably got lucky there. Thanks,
but I mean, still, he didn't have to use that particular reserve, did he? He could have used something else.
So that's my player of the match. We'll go to you, Troy, first because you reverse order from last time.
Yeah, well, I think you pretty much covered it pretty well there. I think, as you said before, Will's run-outs from near our line were pretty tough. Unfortunately, he didn't pick up that ball to score that try, but... Yeah, he's only a young fella. He'll learn from that, obviously. But yeah, Gutho as well. Just those 2 tries that he scored, and bits and pieces of his game there and there. And look, with Dylan, we called for him to run the ball a few more times. There was slight glimpses of times where he did run, and you thought maybe he's just going to get through the gap, but definitely. As you said, Adam, he is missing Sean Lane, but he just hasn't had the start of the season that he'd hoped for.
He's just not creating anything. Like, off the set plays, obviously, he's creating a couple of try assists and stuff, but...
Maybe starting spot and have Matto off the bench.
I think I think just quickly, I think one pleasing thing is a few years ago, you would have seen Manly 40-10 or something like that, but... They did show that they can score points.
Would you say they showed some effort?
They did show a little bit of effort, but
the effort was there.
The effort was there because, as I said, a few years ago they would have just given up. We saw what happened.
Troy, I haven't been back to Brookie since that
56 nil. Yeah. I haven't been back either.
I haven't been back either, and that's what I'm saying. Like, once Manly got a roll on that day, we never came back. Mind you, it was 56 degrees as well, but but just saying that could have been
the degrees are as high as the points.
That could have been another big score against us, but we did get back into the game and just not enough.
But how do you score?
What do you think it means? If you haven't seen, you've probably seen it by now. What do you think it means for the club once, obviously, 11 games to go, and then Brad Arthur becomes the longest-serving coach for Parramatta ever? With obviously that success of the 80s and those few grand final appearances over the years, and then I guess you can count a grand final appearance last year, but nothing coming of it. What do you think that means for the club? Mainly you, Troy, but everyone can answer this question. For him to become the longest-serving coach and have nothing to go against it compared to a lot of NRL coaches in this era, what do you think it means for our club?
Well, it's obviously tough to be a Parramatta NRL head coach because there's so much expectation to be successful because not only the supporter base but also the fact that it hasn't been won for 37 years. So for him to be the longest serving this year, obviously the first half of his coaching career was really, really tough because we were coming out of that struggling period after the 2009 grand final, and then obviously 12 and 13, and then 2016 comes along and we all know what happened there. 2017 got us back to finals. 2018, rather a year to forget. But since then, he's had us in the finals every single year since then. And we've seen... so last year was the grand final. The year before was week 2. I think it was, 3 years of week 2 finals. So we've gone relatively sort of deep in finals. And last year was a success because we made the grand final, even though we didn't win it. I mean, we all look at Brian Smith, who is currently, until BA takes over, the highest serving coach at Parramatta, and a lot of people said the same thing about him. He turned the club around from where they were mid-90s, in the late 90s to early 2000s. He turned that club around and turned it into the sort of powerhouse that it was. Made a grand final, didn't win it unfortunately, but then we saw him 2010 I think it was, make the grand final with the Roosters. So it's thing I'm probably disappointed about, and it came out today in the press conference from Brad, Adam's favourite press conference person, but it was the fact that he hasn't watched the grand final replay. And you listen to... So he hasn't watched it, and his reasoning was, why would you want to watch it now? I'll watch it later. It's not going to change anything. Well, you talk to...
Every other player's watched it, but Junior's watched it like 12 friggin' times.
Yeah, so that... No. Well, you're not going to learn anything and take it out in the field, are you, Joel? I don't know, but maybe in your seventh first.
Pretty sure I could have come up with a better coaching plan for that grand final than what we did. But anyway.
You listen to the experts, and they say that you watch that grand final and you'll learn something, and you'll take it out of that game and take it into other games. But for him to not watch it and learn something out of it, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Look, I think Joel's just stolen my thunder. Definitely the engine room needs to step up. We saw in the grand final last year, Leota and Fisher-Harris pretty much control that first 10-15 minutes against our two big boppers. So I'm sure they'll want to get the upper hand against them this time. But I probably would have made the change of bringing Ogden in and taking Greg out. Just for a bit more size.
Because Greg's a cat?
Just for a bit more size. And yeah, that's
trying to make him angry, eh?
I'm trying to make him angry. Him and Nelson.
That's a well, those two have to run it, yeah, Adam. So I'll be there when that happens, and we'll see what happens, eh? But
I mightn't go to Melbourne in July. I mightn't make it out alive.
But yeah, so as Joel said, it's up front. They need to get the ascendancy in those first 10-15 minutes. And we've got to start well. Preferably score first and just roll off the back of that and hopefully get the momentum in the game.
Yep. Very good. Right. Dylan to have a big game. That's Hayden's bold prediction. Troy?
Okay, well, score will be 28 20. First try scorer will be... Oh, look, I'm going to go back to him. Will Penasini. He played good last week. He's going to score a try because he...
is he down that side? But
unfortunately,
what side's he down?
Unfortunately, knocked the ball on last week, so he's going to get a try this week.
Right. He'll be against Crichton, won't he?
Yeah.
No. He'll be against Tago and
Tango, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So, yeah, he'll get one over him. And bold prediction will be... bold prediction. Brendan Hands get a try on debut.
Ooh. That's going to be hard in 2 minutes.
He also loves a handy.
It'll be hard to do that in 2 minutes, he gets.
No, because as we saw last week, the replacement's got more than 5 minutes, so that trend's going to continue. So he'll get more than 5 minutes.
He'll come on for Hodjo.
Yeah,
he'll come on before half time. If you're playing a hooker, he's got to come on about that 30-minute mark.
He'll get more than 5 minutes.